we live in very interesting times where women's liberation and the feminist movement has given women all the rights of men, and we're no longer financially dependent on men in the kitchen, cooking, and having children. And so men and women seems like have become more alike in their behavior, like more androgynous in their behavior, where women now make their own money. And if women make their own money, why should men pay for them? And women are on the pill and they can't get pregnant unless they want to. There's all this birth control available, so they're hooking up like men. So why should men marry them? And, a lot of men are taught by some of these feminists, and I am going to research the feminist movement. I will do that at the suggestion of one of the commenters. I will take that on because I think it's important. He's right. But some of these feminists are very angry against men, and the feminist movement for some women has come out of, we want equal rights to be able to work, to vote, to have a voice. But other women came at the feminist movement from a place of hatred. Men have oppressed me, and men are bad, and men are toxic. So you have to be very careful to see what kind of women you're dealing with. And when men see women, they don't know if this is a feminist who relishes in equality and love and equal rights for all, or if this is a feminist who's coming from hatred and despises men and isn't receptive to a man opening her door for her because, like, I can open my own door and I don't need a man. I think that we have to rethink some of this, because if men are not supposed to pay, and they're not supposed to open doors, and they're not supposed to protect, provide, or lead, then they're just a girlfriend. You've become a girlfriend, and there's no sexual polarity. If you have had to strip away all of the masculine qualities, and your brain is different, guys. They don't tell you your brain is bigger than a woman's brain, but it has fewer connections between it. You have testosterone, which gives you more energy, strength, power, focus, determination. You have greater lung capacity. You have more upper body strength. Those are just some of the things that I know. You have a greater libido, a greater sex drive. All right, you have more desire for sex than we do, and all of that can be put into action, right? But if you repress all of that and try to make yourself like, if you as a man repress your manliness, you start shaving your pubic hair, you start saying, I'm gonna be like a girlfriend, who's going to want to fuck you? That's the problem that I have with all of this. Okay, if we can be equal without being the same, but if you're going to be the same as a woman, there's no sexual attraction at all for me. And the other question that comes in is, what about the children? Who is supposed to raise the children? I'm not here to give a specific answer. I'm not attached to any point of view on this, but these are questions that come up for me that I haven't been able to resolve. If men and women are going to act the same because society tells us to, okay, if we're going to do this social experiment where everybody acts the same sexually, financially, relationally, where is the sexual attraction coming from the woman to want to fuck the man who's basically an demasculinized version of a man? And if women work as much as men, who raises the children? Are we just going to send all of our children to childcare with people who make $13 an hour with a high turnover rate? This is my ideal. Now, I'm 61. Has always been my ideal. That in a marriage, that people have different roles. That creates attraction, that creates polarity, that creates everyone has their own sphere. So in my marriage, I really liked that I took care of the house stuff, and my husband at the time did all the outdoor manly things, more of the outdoor manly things, okay? Like projects on the house remodeling, yard work. Um, as an example, stuff with the cars, buying and reselling cars, buying cars, fixing them up, selling them, doing more of the construction projects around the house, manly things. I like that. And as far as the children, if a couple has children, in my view, the mother works not at all while the kids are little or just part time, because children need a loving, stable home. So when people talk about, women should be working and I don't want to pay for a woman, I just wonder, what about the children? I love children. I have a playlist called Parenting. You might want to check it out. I love children. Children are I'm a mother. I love children for that reason, but I also know about the importance of the nurture of children, because when you see adults that have anxiety, depression, borderline personality, it all comes from a traumatic childhood. The child wasn't loved. Children need loving, reliable parents who teach them boundaries, responsibility, and who lead and guide them. And unless the parents are both high working and have high quality childcare, like a well-trained nanny or a grandparent that lives with them, it's just bad for the kids. So I think we need to discuss that. We need to talk about that. So what are the roles of men and women in modern relationship if we actually care about sexual polarity and a woman wanting to fuck her man, and if we care about the children? Now, if we don't care about the sexual polarity and we don't care about the children, and guys might not realize that you become very unattractive when you become a doormat to a woman, when you don't have any boundaries, when you don't have any differentiation, and you just try to be like her girlfriend, and kind of check out of the masculine role, because you're listening to a bunch of toxic feminists. And I want you to know that I don't know any toxic feminists. By the way, all these guys saying that, oh yeah, women just take our money. I have another example. I have a friend who recently got divorced, and she bought her husband out of the house because she makes more money than he does. Okay? She bought him out of the house and helped him get set up in his own place because he had a lot of emotional problems, and so she was the one that was more the reliable one in the relationship. There are so many women that never file for child support or alimony. There are so many women that actually pay the ex-husband. So I think some of you guys are just picking examples of a tiny sliver of women who are toxic, And so I'm going to invite you to see, women like me, and they're women like me of all ages who actually care about who they're being and how they're living their lives. But again, on this video, I would love to hear from you guys on if men and women, what are the responsibilities or the roles that we can have for men and women today? Because if they're both the same, I actually know some younger couples, they both work, they don't have kids, they make the same amount of money, and they come home and they watch TV all day. There's zero sexual attraction on the part of the woman. Zero sexual attraction. One thing that men don't realize, this is very important, if you like sex, a woman who's tired and stressed, the legs are closed. There is no sexual desire. Women are different from men. A man can be stressed and use sex to relax, but a woman who's stressed, her libido is gone. And all these women that work all these hours, they have no libido. Their adrenal glands are worn down, and after menopause, their adrenal glands can't even make testosterone anymore, and there is zero sex happening. Okay? So, for a woman to feel sexual, she's got to stay embodied. She's got to be relaxed because we have to open. And I'm just telling you, you might not want to hear it, but these are the discussions we need to have. A tired woman doesn't want to fuck. A stressed woman doesn't want to fuck. And if you care about fucking and you care about sex, the ideal is for a woman to work part-time and to spend outside the home and to spend the other time nourishing the home, nourishing the family life, and making a home. And that was one thing that bothered me a lot when I was a stay-at-home mom. There were a lot of very wealthy women in my community, and they didn't do any of the household stuff. They hired a house cleaner. It's like, okay, you're hiring someone to clean your house, you're hiring someone to watch your kids, and now you're going to hire someone to fuck your husband? Like, what is the point of you? So I'm a big believer. I always clean my own house, except when my kids were very little. I hired people to clean the house. But I cleaned the house, I did the grocery shopping, I did the cooking out of love and nurturing for my family. And there's value in that. There's value in that. So when a woman works part-time outside the home, then she can do the rest of the stuff in the home. So when the husband comes home, he doesn't have to be a domestic servant. He can do other things. He can do stuff with the cars or help with the kids or do a house project or something else that's more of a manly nature, so that people have different roles and someone can nourish the home. So again, that's what I want to make this video about. If men are told that they're toxic and they should act like women, where is our sexual polarity? Who takes care of the home and who takes care of the children? And I don't hear anybody talking about this stuff. You know, you guys don't care about children or sex? I'm just flabbergasted here. I don't even know what to say. I'm very interested in what you guys have to say about it. That's why I'm making this video. I have so many intelligent people who watch my videos. I really, really have been craving the answer to this question for myself too, because if I get into another relationship, what would his role be? What would my role be? You know? And being financially dependent on a man sucks because you have no power. You lose power. Money is power. The person paying the bills has power. You're dependent on them. And when I'm dependent on someone, I'm less likely to speak up for what I want and for what I need, because if he doesn't like it, he could ask me to leave, and then how will I provide for myself? So women absolutely have to be able to provide for themselves. And if they work part-time, they can always turn that into full-time if they need to provide for themselves. So the days are gone when women must stay with a man who's abusive, neglectful, or violent. And that's a good thing. And gone are the days when men make enough money to provide for a family anyway. Most men are unable to provide for a family these days. It's a tiny percentage of men who can provide for a family. I'm going to say less than 10% of men. You have to make at least $100,000 a year, and that's, I think, less than 5% of people, and most of them are already in their 40s. So women nowadays have to work, unfortunately, but I think that comes at a great cost to sex. People are having less and less sex these days, and it comes at the cost of health. There's more obesity, more mental health problems, and people are less happy with their lives. The United States is the most medicated country in the world, with a huge percentage of women on antidepressants, anti-anxiety meds. I take zero medication, okay? I take zero medication. I'm not on anything, no anxiety, no depression, or whatever. But I consciously have always chosen a life where I work part-time and I have work that nourishes my heart. And I still have a libido, and I'm 61. And so that's possible, but I take care of my health and I nourish my heart, and I refuse, and I've always refused to be a worker bee, and I don't get my sense of self from how much work I do and how productive I am. you know, and that's what a lot of women are taught, but it will kill your sex drive. Okay. We as women, especially, thrive when we're in work that nourishes our heart. Okay. And when we work part time outside the home, and I as a woman feel nourished when, you know, I like to clean, I like my home to be nice, I like to um, I get more. I'm just different from men, and I want to celebrate that. But anyway, I want to know what you guys think. And someone suggested I go on TikTok. I don't want to go on TikTok. I think there's certain social media platforms that are causing the disintegration of our attention span, bring a lot of input, are bad for our mental health, and that I include commercial porn, which is violent, too flashy, and abusive to women, and sites like TikTok, even YouTube Shorts, which are all designed to encourage this flashy thing that is very bad for our brains, and I don't want to be on there. Life isn't all just about money, it's a lot about my spiritual development, who I'm being, and how I experience life. And I don't want to spend. I don't want to go into that TikTok circus. I refuse. Anyway, that's enough about that. I would love to hear again what you think would be the roles of men and women to create a very healthy relationship where there's a healthy sexuality, you know, a desire between them, and who raises our children. And thank you for watching my video.